Sometimes, the quietest person in the room is the one who makes you question everything about yourself. In a world dominated by loud voices and flashy personas, there exists a rare breed of individuals who thrive in the shadows, the Sigmas. These are the ones who seem to operate just outside the system, playing by their own rules while everyone else scrambles to keep up. The strangest part, their mere presence often makes people pause, reflect, and sometimes spiral into an existential crisis. Here's an intriguing fact. Psychologists suggest that over 70% of people conform to group norms without even realizing it. Sigmas, however, are the human equivalent of a glitch in the matrix, silent disruptors who operate entirely outside the rule book. Their presence leaves you wondering, what do they know that I don't? But don't let their low profile fool you. Sigmas have a knack for shaking up the status quo without lifting a finger. It's an unnerving talent that leaves everyone from their closest friends to complete strangers questioning their own lives. If you think this sounds exaggerated, just wait. The way Sigmas live, think, and move through the world isn't just different. It's a mirror, forcing us to reflect on everything we thought we understood. Buckle up, this is about to get uncomfortable and oddly entertaining. 1. They live by a code no one can fully understand. Sigmas operate according to a personal set of principles that seem almost impossible to pin down. They navigate life with a moral compass that doesn't point north, or at least not the same north everyone else follows. It's not that they reject morality. In fact, they hold themselves to a strict code of conduct. The twist, this code isn't written in any language the rest of us understand. It's self-defined, often fluid, and uniquely tailored to their perspective of the world. This confuses people because it's so far removed from the societal norms most of us blindly adopt. For the Sigma, rules and expectations aren't absolutes, they're guidelines to be questioned, bent, or outright ignored if they don't align with their values. To outsiders, this can appear inconsistent or even arrogant. To the Sigma, it's simple logic. Why adhere to a system that doesn't make sense? This kind of thinking makes people uncomfortable not because it's wrong, but because it forces them to confront how much of their own life is spent conforming to rules they never questioned. Even more disarming is that Sigmas feel no need to explain themselves. They act according to their code without seeking approval, understanding, or agreement. This leaves others in a perpetual state of curiosity or frustration, trying to decipher their motivations. Their code isn't about rebellion for rebellion's sake, it's about authenticity. In a world where most people live by borrowed values, Sigmas challenge us to consider something unsettling. How much of what I do is truly mine and not just a reflection of imposed norms? 2. They don't fear being unlike. Sigmas possess an uncanny ability to remain entirely unfazed by whether people like them. While most spend significant energy worrying about acceptance and perception, Sigmas operate on a completely different frequency. For them, the need for approval simply doesn't exist. They're not rude or dismissive about it, they've just decided that their value isn't tied to others' opinions. This indifference is deeply unsettling in a society built on social validation. It forces people to confront an uncomfortable question: why do I care so much about what others think? Sigmas confidently make decisions, set boundaries, and live on their own terms. Their confidence isn't loud or flashy, it's quiet, grounded, and uncheckable. This makes them impervious to manipulation or guilt-tripping, tools often used to control those desperate for approval. Oddly enough, their indifference to being liked makes them more magnetic. People are drawn to their authenticity and intrigued by their freedom. For those overly invested in approval, Sigmas hold up a mirror to insecurities. They remind us that the fear of being unliked is often the heaviest chain we wear, and the key to breaking it is realizing it doesn't matter. 3. They're unapologetically selfish in the best way. Sigmas are unapologetically selfish, but not in the way you might think. They don't trample over others to get what they want or ignore people's feelings out of convenience. Instead, their selfishness stems from an uncheckable commitment to living life on their terms. They prioritize their time, energy, and resources with laser focus, treating them as non-renewable assets. To outsiders, this might seem cold or arrogant, but in reality, it's a masterclass in intentional living. Sigmas understand that saying yes to everything is the fastest way to dilute your purpose. They don't waste time on relationships, activities, or obligations that don't align with their values or goals. This boundary setting is often misunderstood as selfishness, but it serves a greater purpose. By being ruthlessly selective, Sigmas free themselves to pursue what truly matters, whether that's personal growth, meaningful connections, or ambitious goals. Ironically, this selfishness often makes them better partners, friends, and collaborators. They show up fully because they aren't bogged down by resentment or exhaustion. Sigmas challenge the belief that selflessness is always a virtue. Watching them live with such clarity forces people to question, why do I stretch myself thin for approval or guilt-driven obligations? Point 4. They balance solitude and connection effortlessly. Sigma males have mastered the art of walking the fine line between solitude and meaningful connections. While they are self-reliant and cherish their alone time, they are not loners in the negative sense. They build relationships not out of necessity but out of genuine interest. When they choose to connect, they do so with depth, sincerity, and purpose. Unlike extroverts who thrive on constant social interaction, or introverts who may struggle to engage, Sigmas interact with others on their own terms. They are selective about who they let into their lives, valuing quality over quantity in relationships. This balance allows them to recharge in solitude while still fostering meaningful bonds, leaving others intrigued by their ability to be both independent and emotionally available. 5. They challenge hierarchies without being confrontational. In any group setting, Sigmas naturally reject traditional hierarchies and social structures. They don't seek positions of power or dominance like alpha males might, nor do they aim to follow the pack. Instead, they operate independently within the system, often influencing from behind the scenes. What sets them apart is that their defiance is not overt or confrontational. They don't argue against the hierarchy, they simply disregard it, quietly doing things their own way. This subtle nonconformity often leads others to question the necessity of those structures, creating a ripple effect of change without direct conflict. Their quiet resistance can be both unsettling and inspiring, as it demonstrates that you don't need to fight the system to operate outside it. 6. They're immune to peer pressure. Peer pressure is a powerful force that shapes much of human behavior, but it has little to no effect on Sigmas. They are guided by an internal compass that makes them resistant to the influence of trends, groupthink, or societal expectations. This immunity stems from their unwavering sense of self. Sigmas know what they want, what they value, and what aligns with their personal principles. They won't compromise those values to fit in or gain approval. This detachment often leaves others both confused and fascinated, as they realize how much of their own behavior is dictated by external pressures rather than personal choice. Point 7. They embrace minimalism in all forms. Sigmas have an innate appreciation for simplicity and minimalism, not just in terms of material possessions but also in their lifestyles, relationships, and decision-making. They focus on what truly matters, cutting out unnecessary distractions and complications. This minimalist approach allows them to channel their energy into their goals and passions. While others might accumulate possessions, relationships, or commitments to feel secure or validated, Sigmas prioritize clarity and purpose. Their lifestyle challenges the consumer-driven mentality of society, inspiring others to question what they actually need versus what they've been conditioned to want. Point 8. They thrive in ambiguity. Sigmas are particularly adept at navigating ambiguous or uncertain situations. Where others might feel paralyzed by a lack of clear direction, Sigmas find opportunity in the unknown. They are natural problem solvers who remain calm under pressure, using their observational skills and adaptability to create order from chaos. Their ability to thrive in uncertainty makes them invaluable in professional and personal settings. Others often look to them for guidance in times of crisis, even though Sigmas rarely seek leadership roles. This trait sets them apart as individuals who don't just survive the unexpected but excel in it. Point 9. They're masters of emotional detachment. One of the Sigma male's most powerful traits is their ability to detach emotionally when necessary. This doesn't mean they lack empathy or emotional depth. Rather, they know how to separate their emotions from their decision-making processes. This detachment allows them to remain objective and rational in situations where others might be overwhelmed by feelings. It also shields them from being manipulated or guilt-tripped, as they can see through emotional ploys and maintain their boundaries. This trait often leaves others in awe or frustration as they realize how much control Sigmas have over their inner worlds. Number 10. They lead without seeking leadership. Though Sigmas often avoid traditional leadership roles, they have a natural ability to lead through example and influence. Their quiet confidence, strong principles, and unique perspective draw others to them, often placing them in positions of informal leadership. What makes their leadership style so effective is that it's not rooted in authority or dominance. Instead, it's based on mutual respect, collaboration, and a genuine desire to solve problems. People follow them not because they have to, but because they want to. This organic form of leadership often challenges traditional ideas about what it means to lead, showing that influence can come from authenticity rather than power. If you found these insights helpful, feel free to leave a comment. If you're unsure about what to say, simply write "done" to let us know you watched until the end. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, we invite you to subscribe now and become part of our channel. Thank you for your attention. Until next time.